remembers. In the winter of 1993, when the Soviet Union was already a ghost of itself, the snow swallowed the roads leading into the quiet town outside St. Petersburg. The hotel stood alone at the edge of a frozen canal, a towering relic from the Stalin era. Its name was the Volkov Grand. Once it had hosted diplomats, composers, and officers. Now it survived on the lost, the lonely, and the curious. Mikhail Petrov was none of those things. He was a journalist chasing stories people preferred to forget. Rumors had reached him about room 707, a room that was never listed, never rented, yet sometimes occupied. The first night. The receptionist, a thin woman with tired eyes, hesitated when Mikhail asked about the 7th floor. She said there is no 7th floor, but the elevator had a button marked 7. It worked. The hallway was wrong. The lights flickered in long, exhausted blinks. The wallpaper peeled like old skin. The air felt heavier, thicker, like breathing through damp cloth. Room 707 was at the end. Its door was already open. Inside, the room was pristine. A single bed, a wooden desk, a rotary telephone. Frost crawled across the inside of the window, though the heater hissed warmly. And on the desk lay a leather-bound notebook. It was dated 1978. The name on the first page froze his blood. Irina Petrova, his mother's name. The disappearances. Irina had vanished when Mikhail was 8 years old. Authorities claimed she had abandoned him. His father drank himself into silence afterwards. But the notebook told a different story. Irina had been a historian researching political disappearances during the late Soviet years. She had stayed at this hotel while investigating rumors that certain guests were never seen leaving. The final entries grew frantic. They know I'm asking questions. The elevator moves at night. Room 707 was not on the blueprint. The hotel keeps what it wants. The last line ended mid-sentence. There were scratch marks carved into the paper, as if someone had tried to write while being dragged away. The hotel breathes. That night, Mikhail refused to leave. At 2:17 a.m., the telephone rang. There was no dial tone, no number display, just breathing. Then a woman's whisper, Misha. Only one person had ever called him that. The lights died. The room expanded in the darkness. The walls stretched impossibly far away, as though the hotel itself inhaled. Footsteps echoed in the corridor, slow, synchronized, dozens of them. When the lights flickered back, the wallpaper had changed. The room looked older. The air smelled of dust and old perfume. And there, sitting at the edge of the bed, was his mother. She hadn't aged a day, but her eyes were hollow, like windows into a place without light. You shouldn't have come, she said softly. I've been here for years. The truth. She explained in a voice that sounded like wind through cracks in stone. The hotel was built over a detention site from the Stalin purges. Prisoners were interrogated in its basement before being erased from records and from memory. When the prison closed, the suffering did not. The building absorbed it. Fear, betrayal, abandonment. Room 707 did not exist physically. It manifested for those searching for someone they lost. The hotel did not kill. It kept. It fed on unresolved grief. And once you entered the room willingly, you belonged to it. You came because you never stopped looking for me, she said. Behind her, shadows pooled along the walls, figures pressing outward like bodies beneath thin ice. If you stay, she whispered, you will see me every day. He almost said yes. The choice. All his life he had blamed her for leaving. Now he knew she hadn't. The hotel had taken her because she searched too deeply into its past. He reached for her hand. It was ice, and beneath the cold he felt something else. Not a pulse, but a pull. The shadows surged forward. The door vanished. The hallway stretched into darkness. Misha, she said again, but her voice began to distort, layering into dozens of whispers. He understood then. The hotel wasn't offering reunion. It was offering escape from pain. If he stayed, he would never feel loss again, but he would never truly live again either. Tears froze on his cheeks as he stepped backwards. I forgive you, he whispered, not because she asked, but because he needed to. The room trembled violently. The shadows recoiled. His mother smiled, this time gently, almost proudly. Goodbye, my son. And she dissolved like frost under sunlight. Morning. Mikhail awoke in the lobby. The receptionist stared at him strangely. You fell asleep in a chair, she said. There is no 7th floor. The elevator panel had no button marked 7. The hotel registry showed no record of room 707. But when he stepped outside into the snow, something felt different, lighter. For the first time in 20 years, he was not searching behind every crowd for her face. The hotel still stood behind him, silent and watching. It would always wait for someone else. The Volkov Grand was demolished 5 years later, but foundations do not forget what they hold. In somewhere beneath new concrete and glass, room 707 still exists, not as a place, but as a choice. Because sometimes the most dangerous haunting isn't a ghost, it's refusing to release the past. Kindly hit the subscribe button for more interesting stories.